In the wild, foxes live between 2 and 8 years. A fully grown fox is around about 95 centimetres or 3 feet in length, not including the tail. The average weight of an adult male is around 6.5 kilos or 14 pounds. Females are a little smaller, 5.5 kilos or 12 pounds. Their breeding season is late December to February, and an average of between 4 and 6 cubs are born any time from March to late April, the peak being mid-March. When fox cubs are born, they are deaf and blind and completely dependent upon their mother for food and warmth. They weigh about 100 grams, are about 10 centimetres long and have short black fur. When they open their eyes, they are initially blue, but change to amber at 4 to 5 weeks. Their coat colour begins to change at 3 weeks, when the black eye streak also appears. When Paul first saw the boy in June 2020, the cub would have been about 3 months old. He'd spotted him high up on the downs, sitting with his sister and brother a couple of days before. But Paul was fairly sure that it was the cub's first encounter with a person. Paul sat down nearby and would have expected the young fox to have scurried off pretty quickly. But he didn't. He was an inquisitive soul and came right over to him. They instantly formed a bond. It's not surprising that foxes and other animals who live in the wild are afraid of humans. And this was true with the boy, because if anyone else came along, the young fox would run. Either that or he would hide behind his human. Over the few years they were together, there were some amusing encounters with other people who were completely unaware that the person they saw was actually with a wild fox and not just his pet dog. Any animal must be allowed to make up their own mind whether they want your company or not. You can't force yourself on them. You are in their territory, so they must be given freedom of choice. The parameters of their relationship were always set by the boy, as they were by his vixen when she arrived in late September of that year. All foxes have different characters, just as we do. He was ridiculously forthcoming. She was more cautious, but very friendly in her own way. At first, Paul gave him small tidbits of food. The boy always preferred to take food directly from a human hand, rather than having it placed on the ground. He knew that if he did, only he would get it. You will notice him drinking water from a small glass bowl. This is very unusual for any wild animal to do, because they're at their most vulnerable when their heads are down to drink. Sadly, he was very prone to injuries. He was often limping. In fact, for the last 9 months of his life, he moved mostly on 3 legs. Once, he was bitten on his back leg, and it turned septic. Paul managed to get him antibiotics, which he ground into his food, and after a couple of months, the boy thankfully recovered. Without a doubt, it saved his life. He had a couple of very nasty eye infections too, and one day got stung in the mouth by a bee. The following day, his face was swollen, and he looked so sorry for himself. But whether he was injured or not, he always found his faithful human, who always managed to treat him. The added interest in the music you can hear is that the boy's call to her has been incorporated. In this case, you'll hear it as 2 short barks. Normally they would conduct their lives in silence. When it got close to mating season, he would bark to let her know where he was. There is some conjecture as to whether this might be normal behaviour for foxes. Paul had certainly never seen it before. But this was a ritual the 2 foxes performed together fairly frequently. The boy would collect a piece of food and take it to her. He would then refuse to release the food, as she would attempt to prise it from his grasp. Eventually he let it go, and she would thank him by bumping noses. It was obvious that they both enjoyed the performance. It was shot in what Paul used to refer to as their secret glade, because it was secluded. That was until 2022, when the National Trust decided to decimate the area with their huge mechanical digger. They levelled every single one of their regular meeting places, which upset and confused the foxes and every other species of animal that lived in the area. And why did they remove vast swathes of gorse and brambles, you might ask? The information supplied was in order to reintroduce indigenous plants to the area. But they never did. This is from June 2021 and is a very simple video that is just the boy with his friendly human at the top of the downs on a sunny evening. It will hopefully give you an idea of what it's like to relax with a wild fox who trusts you completely.